Hi, I'm Hal, this is Randy. We're here with Tac Vanes today to talk through a couple of tips and tricks for fletching Tac Vanes. Now, Randy, occasionally we'll get a few emails and every now and then somebody will have some trouble fletching their vanes. And so I want to ask you, in your experience, have you found that fletching Tac Vanes is any more difficult than fletching other vanes on the market?
It's definitely not any more difficult, I can tell you that for sure. They are a little bit different. The main thing that makes our vanes different is that they're a little bit stiffer, and that stiffer material makes it so that the base doesn't squish as much as a lot of other vanes do. So it's really critical that you get a good seat. That's the number one thing that generally I find people don't have, is a complete seat of the vane to the shaft.
So what do people need to do in order to get a better seat for that vane to the shaft?
So it really is based on the jig. If you're using a Bitzenberger style jig, clamp style, that has like an adjustment to the offset, then the number one thing is adjusting the jig. You cannot be hesitant to adjust the jig. Even if you had it set up for that arrow for different vanes or whatever, just because they fletched fine with other vanes, it doesn't mean they're exactly going to with these. You may have to adjust them to get that perfect seat. So don't be hesitant to adjust it.
All right, so number one tip is if you're not getting full adhesion, step one, make a micro adjustment to the jig, try again. Number two tip, what would you say the second most important thing is?
I'd have to say probably the QR code on the back of our packaging. Every one of our packages comes with a QR code that takes you right to our adhesion guarantee, which gives you a full breakdown in text and in video of exactly how to do it. The do's and don'ts, how to use the primer pen properly, how to apply the glue properly, how to apply the glue very shortly after the primer pen. So there's a few little tips and tricks that make a little bit of a difference that folks may not have been used to with vanes of the past.
So even if I've been fletching for years, if this is my first time fletching with Tac Vanes, it's worth my time to watch the videos once through.
100%. I know a lot of folks are getting used to the primer pen. They're out with other brands, but there's nothing any different about that with ours. But most of the time, people need an adjustment to the jig. It's either an adjustment to the jig, or you have to look sometimes, like with a small diameter arrow, like you'll see we cut our clamps down on our Bitzenberger, because on like a micro diameter arrow, like a 166 arrow like this, where that seats, it almost always hits on the leading edge of the clamp. So we chop that off because we're not shooting 5-inch vanes anymore. You generally don't need that much extra room. And so if you chop that off, that'll make sure you get good contact to the front of the vane. But aside from that, mostly is adjust the jig until it sticks, is the simplest way I can put it.
A wise man once said, when all else fails, read the directions, right?
I know it's painful at times, but this is one that it's definitely worth it. It's about 4 minutes of your time, and it teach you a lot.
All right, so last thing, tell me a little bit about our adhesion guarantee. That's not something that most companies offer. So what does that entail?
Not at all. Ultimately, what that is because we know this system works so well. If you're using the primer pen, and our glue, we guarantee the adhesion. And so what that means is that gives you an opportunity to reach out to us and say, hey, I'm having a problem. That gives us an opportunity to reach back out and tell you, hey, here's some tips and tricks and things to try. If it comes down to it, we'll send you some more vanes to work with.
All right, so an adhesion guarantee. So if you want to know more about our adhesion guarantee, or you want to watch any of these videos, tips and tricks, we've got videos even about how to fletch specifically with a Bitzenberger jig. We've got one on the Vane Master Pro. Go to our website, tacvanes.com, and look for the adhesion tab up top. Thanks for watching, everybody.